coming up on Sports Night.
Northwestern lacrosse seeks to turn up at the top of the Big Ten.
We've got an exclusive interview with NU legend Boo Buie.
And Northwestern softball looks to stay supreme in conference play.
Well, March Madness has come to an end and April showers are in full swing.
Well, I wouldn't exactly call them showers, Max. Typically, my showers don't involve getting pelted with pellets of ice.
Well, fair enough. But let's look on the bright side here. We're safe and warm in the studio this evening, and while tonight may not be promising Mayflowers just yet, we've got something even better for you, because it's Sports Night right now. Good evening, hello friends, and welcome to the first Sports Night of Spring Quarter on a Masters Thursday. Now, Brendan, it's only fitting that we dressed up so well for one of golf's most prestigious events.
Absolutely. I feel like I'm basically properly fitted to walk onto Augusta National right now.
Yeah, well, if only we had green jackets to match, then you could say, well, we aced the dress code. Let's just hope there's not a hole in one of our suits tonight. That'd be a real bogey for the show.
All right, that's enough with the golf puns. On with the show. Northwestern lacrosse has probably been listening to a lot of Willie Nelson lately. The Lake Show has been on the road again for its last 3 games, including 1 game in Los Angeles, followed by 2 games on the East Coast. Here's how the Wildcats fared in their crisscrossing of the country. Northwestern's 3rd-ranked lacrosse squad headed to the West Coast Sunday for a matchup against the Trojans of USC. After the loss to North Carolina, a win was imperative for the Cats to keep their high ranking. 2 minutes into the first quarter, free position for Maddie Taylor. Too easy for the Wildcats' leading scorer. USC kept the score close through the first, but Northwestern started to pull away in the second. Nikki Miles looks around, finds Riley Campbell, flicks it in the back of the net, put the Cats up 6-2. Northwestern would enter the half up 8-5. Late in the third, Sam Smith gets the ball, sprints right down the middle of the fan, and it's just too easy for Northwestern. They overworked that poor USC goalie all day. Cats up 11-6, but Isabel Vitale for USC responded just 30 seconds later, sprinting away from the net and getting it in off her back foot to cut the deficit to 4. 8 minutes to go. Campbell finds Miles. Miles finds the net. She'd have 2 goals on the day. Campbell would have 3 assists. And a minute later, Northwestern passing it around Lucy Monroe, finds the ball, finds the goal, joins her teammates in just tormenting the Trojans goalie. But USC would fight on. Even with their city burning, no Trojan horse would save them, but Isabel Vitale would blitz to the net and score over Delaney Schweitzer. Valiant effort on the part of USC, but Lauren Archer would score for the Wildcats once again with 2:03 on the clock, and Northwestern would go on to beat the Trojans 17-8. Maddie Taylor accounted for 5 goals as her monster season continued. Next up for Northwestern, a battle against Johns Hopkins. And that was, of course, last week. Number 3 Northwestern heading east for a big-time matchup with number 4 Johns Hopkins for first in the Big Ten. The Blue Jays struck first with a goal by Ashley Mackin just over 3 minutes into the game, but the Cats responded emphatically, rattling off 6 straight scores before the Jays could get on the board again. While Johns Hopkins tried its best to keep pace with Northwestern's offensive onslaught, the game was effectively decided by halftime as Northwestern rode an 8-goal second period to enter the halftime break up 14-5, and you would add 4 more insurance goals during the second half to cap off an 18-5 rout over a top 5 opponent and take the top spot in the Big Ten. Madison Taylor led the way with 4 goals, while Taylor LaPointe and Lucy Monroe each contributed hat tricks of their own. With the win, the Cats extended their Big Ten winning streak to double digits and put an end to the Blue Jays' 8-game winning streak.
Now the 4th-ranked Northwestern women's lacrosse then went on to take Rutgers this past Sunday in Piscataway, New Jersey. Starting here, the Wildcats were off to a bit of a slow start as Rutgers attacker Michelle Warren bends around the crease for the easy finish to give the Scarlet Knights an early lead. But we're going to head over to the Cats now, where Lucy Monroe finds a cutting Madison Taylor up the middle here, and you can see she puts that ball right into the back of the net, extending the Wildcats' lead to 5. Later in the second, Riley Campbell takes on her defender, dodging to her right hand, and with a full head of steam to give the Cats an 8-1 lead. Now 9-2 coming out of the half, and Rutgers' Alexa Corbin dodges her defender. She's going to spin around, take on another Northwestern defender, and throw it into the back of the net. What a shot there. Nice job for the Scarlet Knights. Now going over to the Cats in the third. Maddie Taylor catches the pass, turns the corner hard to her left, and powers that finish into the top left of the net. Now who else but Madison Taylor cutting hard to the middle and catching a pass immediately right here. You're going to see she finishes it home. What a shot there. Now in the fourth, Peyton Teeney starts her dodge against Sam Smith high up the field. She dodges to her left and finishes that one, barely getting it into the Northwestern goal. It was a decisive victory for the Wildcats, with Northwestern's women's lacrosse winning with a score of 15-6. Now the Cats are back in action right here in Evanston on Sunday at 1 p.m. as the Lake Show makes its Lakeside debut. It's going to be a fun one for sure.
When we come back, Sports Night has an exclusive interview with Northwestern icon Boo Buie on his journey in the NBA's G League. Don't miss it.
Trying to work my way out of the prison system was the most difficult challenge of my life. It only became tangible once I became a Northwestern student.
One, two, three, four.
My relationship with Giannis is unique. We're from the same country, we're from the same city. Being a Northwestern alum, I think, has tremendous advantages in the sports industry. To me, that community, it's been with me for 20 plus years.
Welcome back to Sports Night. Now, Brendan, March Madness came to a close on Monday with the Florida Gators returning to the apex of college basketball. Now, a lot of my hometown friends back in Houston are not quite happy. I was pulling for Duke for my bracket, so not good for me either. But the Floridians are quite happy. How do you feel about the game?
Unfortunately, I was also pulling for Duke for my bracket, but the championship game was an instant classic that's going to be remembered for a long time. I'd say if you look back, it's probably one of the best 5 title games we've had this century. March is truly a month for legendary moments.
Yeah, absolutely. And not only legendary moments, but legendary players as well. Northwestern basketball missed out on the big dance for this season for the first time since 2022. But memories of the Wildcats' iconic postseason heroes still remain.
And the biggest Northwestern hero of them all, you know exactly who it is. It's Boo Buie. After so many iconic moments at NU, Agent Zero is now hooping in the NBA G League. Our very own Sammy Krimstein was able to catch up with Buie as his first professional season came to a close.
Buie launching for the record. He's got it!
When I say Northwestern, right, I mean, I'm sure a lot of things come to mind. But what are some of those things for you? What comes to mind when I just say Northwestern?
The first thing that comes to mind is home. Like you said, I played there 5 years. I grew up there, basically.
It's been about a year since Buie's last game as a Wildcat, and in November, he signed a 2-way deal with the New York Knicks, playing with their affiliate, the Westchester Knicks, in stadiums just like this.
It's a lot different. The game's a lot different than college, just in terms of pace and play. But it's been a unique experience. I've enjoyed it a bunch, and I've got to meet a lot of cool people and meet a lot of new people.
Buie has also encountered some familiar faces in the G League, like former Wisconsin star Johnny Davis, who was the 2022 Big Ten Player of the Year and now plays with Bowie on the Westchester Knicks.
We've been able to actually go from competing against each other at one point to, being on the same team and, creating chemistry to be able to play out there on the same team together. I didn't know him personally before this, but now I do, and we've gotten close. So, I think that'll be one of my friends for, future years to come.
Although he's formed plenty of new relationships in the G League, Bowie still keeps in constant touch with his former Wildcat teammates, his Northwestern family.
All those guys, we're a part of something that is the legacy. That's what I would describe us staying and, going through all the losses to be what we were these last 2 years. That's the legacy.
Central to that legacy was Bowie's bond with head coach Chris Collins.
My relationship with Coach, obviously, when I first came in, I was a young freshman, and I had a lot to learn. I would say about after my sophomore year, we became really close, and then in the last 2 years, we became extra close. We were really just on the same page.
Bowie looking, working, driving inside. Hook is good.
My first 3 years playing there, I remember coming out during Big Ten games, and there would be 200 people in the crowd total. And then just in the last 2 years, seeing the environment of the Welsh Ryan Arena change, the atmosphere of the campus change. So just being able to be a part of that and seeing what winning at Northwestern did for the Evanston community, that was probably one of the most special things for me.
The Boo Bowie era was historic at Northwestern. For the first time in school history, NU went to back-to-back NCAA tournaments. So when Bowie checked out for the final time in Northwestern's season-ending tournament loss against UConn, it was the end of an era.
But playing in that last game, I just remember going into it, just how connected we were. And then afterwards being so grateful, and everyone coming out, everyone on the team took about 20, 30 seconds just to say something. And you could just feel the vibe and how heartfelt everything was that everyone said.
Northwestern has had 4 NBA players debut since 2000. Obviously, that's your goal. So what would it mean to you to become the 5th and to be able to represent Northwestern at the highest level of basketball there is?
I mean, it would be a great honor, Obviously, I'm only in this position because of Northwestern and, the platform that they put me on to be able to showcase my skills and make my name Boo Bowie. So just being able to, if I was able to get a debut, being able to be the 5th, that would be a really special feeling because, Northwestern is already the most special place in the world to me already. So just anything else that I could add to, boost the Northwestern name would be awesome.
Thank you, Boo. Thank you, Boo.
For NNN Sports Night, I'm Sammy Krimstein.
Thank you, Boo.
Thank you so much, Sammy. Tremendous work as always. Be sure to check out the full interview on our YouTube channel. In other men's basketball news, Northwestern announced last Friday that Bowie's head coach, Chris Collins, has signed a multi-year contract extension that keeps him in Evanston through 2030. Collins, who's already second in Northwestern history in wins by a head coach with 194, is committed to sticking around for the long haul and hopefully making another run at March Madness next season.
Now over to the pool. 7 members of Northwestern's women's swimming and diving team competed in the NCAA Championships in Federal Way, Washington from March 19th to the 22nd. The long weekend was highlighted by the breaking of a school record as a team of Nikki Venema, Lindsay Irvin, Sydney Smith, and Audrey Yu finished the 400 free relay in just over 3 minutes and 13 seconds to break a record that was set by the Cats back in 2021. They finished 18th overall in that race and 21st in the 800 free with the same team, aside from swapping Yu with Zoe Nordman. Now, on the personal side of the competition, Venema again shined, placing 21st in the 100 free and 13th in the 200 free. Now, that's a wrap on the women's swim and dive season. They'll be back in action next year.
Continuing to dive right into action in the pool, 8 Northwestern athletes participated in 11 different events at the NCAA Men's Swimming and Diving Championships. The competing Cats were in Federal Way, Washington from March 26th until March 29th. Despite not having any individual swimmer or diver place on the podium at the championships, Northwestern shattered records left and right throughout the entire postseason. In terms of individual records, Stuart Seymour set new program bests in the 50-meter freestyle and 100-meter backstroke, and Joshua Staples set a record in the 500-meter freestyle. The quartet of David Gerchik, Tyler Liu, Seymour, and Cade Duncan combined for a record in the 400 medley relay, and Seymour, Duncan, Connor Schuster, and Gerchik combined for another team record in the 500 freestyle. The Wildcats finished the regular season a perfect 5-0 at home and 8-1 overall.
Now over to the golf course. The number 10 ranked Northwestern Wildcats competed on the greens in the Silver Otter Showdown this week in Napa, California, hoping to have a strong showing to conclude their regular season. Now the Wildcats came out and shot 1 under in the first round, led by Lauren Nguyen, who went 2 under in her round. The Cats struggled in the second round with every single Wildcat except for Nguyen posting an over par score, with the Cats dropping to 2 over in the tournament. But these Cats showed no quit when it came to the wire. Nguyen and Sin Tai Lin combined to shoot 5 under. To pile it on, Ashley Yoon and Elise Lee were even on the day, pushing NU to a tournament-winning 3 under par. Additionally, the Wildcat MVP got some glory of her own as Nguyen's 9 under par performance led all players and was 4 strokes ahead of second place. The team and individual victory provided strong momentum for the Cats as they head into postseason play in the Big Ten Championships. Now that's next weekend in Maryland. The Wildcats finished their regular season in the best fashion and are hoping to carry that momentum forward.
When we come back, Northwestern looks to make like Kay Jewelers and find more success on the diamonds.
My relationship with Giannis is unique. We're from the same country, we're from the same city. Being a Northwestern alum, I think, has tremendous advantages in the sports industry. To me, that community, it's been with me for 20 plus years.
Ready, set, Yano!
You know, it's already been a long show, but Sports Night always goes the full 9 innings, and I think it's about time for a 7th inning stretch.
Max, hold on a second. Hold on. We got to stay focused. We're not at Wrigley right now. We're still in the studio.
Well, I'm sorry about that. It's April, baseball season's underway, and I just wish I was on the diamond right now.
Well, then you're in luck. Northwestern softball headed into last weekend firmly in the thick of the Big Ten race thanks to a 7-0 conference record. But with an in-state showdown against Illinois to deal with, the Cats would need to bring their A game to keep their Big Ten record unblemished. And what's not to love about Northwestern softball? Well, now that I think about it, maybe the sub-freezing wind chill. Just cut to the action. Let's go. Jumping ahead in Game 1, Kansas Robinson, runners at second and third, laces a go-ahead 2-bagger into the gap in left center. Her team-best 10th double of the season puts the Cats up 2-1. Sliding into second, she is hyped, and there's excitement everywhere. Of course, it's a rivalry game. Top of the 7th now for the Illini with their backs against the wall, but they come roaring off of it, starting with a pull-side bomb off the bat of Stevie Mead. They tacked on another run with a sacrifice fly, but Lauren Boyd stifles the rally on her 123rd pitch of the day. Her 5th complete game of the year gives Northwestern Game 1 4-3. After a scoreless first 4 frames, big-time Bridget Donahue comes through for Northwestern's first run in Game 2. What a year at the plate for her. Her team-leading 7th jack, but her defense has been quite the opposite. No offensive scoring allowed. Barehanded scoop. Now she sails the throw, allows Northwestern to tie it. Zoe Howard comes all the way around from first, 1-1. Make that 2-1 after this single from Ella Cushing. Northwestern's perfect conference record now in serious jeopardy. First-year Izzy Cuneo would serve as Northwestern's last hope in this game. Runners on, but can't get the job done. The Illini provide the first blemish on the Cats' Big Ten record, but Candace Robinson wasted no time trying to rectify that blemish in Game 3. 2 RBI base hits sees the Northwestern gain an early advantage. And we'd have freshman on freshman crime in the third as Kyrie's Click smashes her first collegiate homer off of Emma Blay to even the score at 2. But you should know the theme by now. If you need a clutch hit in this series, call 10. Boom! Forget about it. Oppo Taco for the junior, breaking the windows in Welsh Ryan. Northwestern up 4-2. But hey, slap hitters have power too. Well, at least Grace Nito does. She follows suit to ice this one up for the Cats. Deep into right field. They'd add another run on the base pass for an 8-2 victory. Kate Drohan's 800th career win with the Cats, making her one of only 30 active Division I coaches to reach that milestone. Now, despite the lone loss to Illinois, Northwestern softball remains atop the Big Ten with a 9-1 record in conference. But next up for the Cats is their stiffest test yet in conference play, with number 23 Nebraska coming to Evanston this weekend.
Beginning the week at a record of 13-13, the Cats were hoping to build momentum against the Iowa Hawkeyes with conference play now in full swing. 2 red-hot programs, one atop the Big Ten rankings, the other seeking their first tournament appearance since 2017. Big-time baseball from the Rock this past weekend. Let's get into it. Picking up things here in the second, leadoff man Ben Wilmus comes through with a base hit. It scores 1. Will it score 2 here? Nope. Preston Knott, what a throw. Now later on in the game, Iowa is sitting pretty in the second, and they're going to coast through this one. 5 in the second, 2 in the sixth, and another 5 in the seventh. Gave way to a 12-1 Hawkeye run rule victory this in the Friday marquee. Now Saturday wouldn't come easy, however. Trent Lyolis gets Northwestern on the board by going from second to home on an infield single, as you can see here, head first into home plate. It was a pitcher's duel in this one until a costly mistake from Owen McElpatrick gave Iowa the lead in the sixth, and they never looked back. Fast forward here to the ninth, and bam, Blake Guerin puts the cherry on top with a dead center dinger to give the Hawkeyes a 7-1 victory and the series win. But the Cats were hoping to scrap one out in Game 3. Inning 3, batter 3 for Northwestern obliterates this baseball for a 2-run double. Cats go up by 3 on Freeman's third extra base hit in in-use past 5 conference games. Now that is a lot of threes. Top of the sixth now, Ben Wilmus is able to even the score, shooting a single past the diving Lyolis to pull the Hawkeyes even, until we will see here Ryan Kucherak stepped up to the plate in the ninth and hits a Tiger Woods stinger line drive left center past the diving Wilmus, and that's going to be the game. The Cats come out on top in the series finale against one of the Big Ten's best, gaining a critical conference win. Now the boys in purple hope to ride the momentum from Kucherak's walk-off in their midweek matchup against Notre Dame. However, the Fighting Irish drew blood first with a Connor Hinks double that led to an RBI in the second. But the Cats came roaring back with 3 runs of their own, thanks to a pair of singles from Owen McElpatrick and Jackson Freeman in the third. In the fifth, Northwestern extended its lead to 5 after Trent Lyolis' 2-run shot. Now that homer was his 15th of the season. That's tying the single-season record for the Cats, and it's early in the season, second only to Grant Gallagher's 17 homers in all of college baseball. But the Fighting Irish wouldn't go down easily. A Carson Tinney single in the 7th capped a 4-run inning and pulled them within 1. Now trying to secure the game late, a Preston Knott RBI single restored an in-use 2-run lead, but then Crawford Wade came in to slam the door shut, giving the Cats the 9-7 victory. Northwestern improved to 15-15, back to 500 on the season.
Clambering on over to the courts, Northwestern women's tennis welcomed a pair of Big Ten foes to Evanston this past weekend. On Friday evening, number 11 Ohio State entered the Combe Tennis Center and came out as victors. The Buckeyes swept the Cats 4-0, securing 3 singles points at the number 2, 3, and 5 positions. But Sunday was a different story for Northwestern, as the Cats defeated number 42 Penn State 4-0 in a sweep of their own. Kylie Rabjohns and Erica Jessel got the party started at the number 3 double spot with a 6-2 win, with Brittany Lau and Mika Dagen-Fruchtman clinching the doubles point with a 6-4 victory. In singles, the Cats were dominant, winning all 3 singles matches that finished in straight sets. Next up for the Cats is a Senior Day matchup on Saturday with the Illinois Fighting Illini.
Northwestern's men's tennis traveled across Lake Michigan to take on number 31 Michigan State and number 23 Michigan this past weekend. Now first up for the Wildcats were the Spartans on Friday evening. Sparty started off hot with wins at the number 1 and number 3 doubles, going on to win 6 consecutive points. Chad Miller secured the only victory for NU, winning a tiebreaker at number 5 singles. Michigan State would go on to win 6-1. Now next, the Wolverines in Ann Arbor on Sunday. Michigan came out smoking, winning 4 straight matches. The Wolverines won at number 2 and number 3 doubles, as well as number 1, 3, and 6 singles to sweep Northwestern 4-0. The Cats will play their final home matches of the year next weekend, with Penn State coming to town on Friday and a matchup against Ohio State on Sunday, when NU will also be celebrating Senior Day.
And here's where you can catch the Cats. It's a busy weekend for Northwestern Athletics. Softball takes on 23rd ranked Nebraska at the J on Saturday at 2 p.m.
Men's tennis welcomes number 4 Ohio State, as just mentioned, on Sunday at noon.
And the Lake Show makes their debut on the shores of Lake Michigan, taking on the Oregon Ducks on Sunday at 1 p.m.
While the Torpedo Bats are swinging in the majors, there's no shortage of homers on the diamond right here in Evanston. We've got the plays of the week coming up next.
I'm Kelly McEvers, founding host of the NPR podcast Embedded.
I'm James Edwards, host of the Unresolved podcast from Frontline.
I'm Antonia Cereijido, former senior producer of Anything for Selena podcast and current executive producer at Elias Studios.
My narrative, since I've been locked up and kind of made my transition, has been like redemption, accountability.
When I come into the classroom environment, every individual that sits amongst me takes education seriously.
My relationship with Giannis is unique. We're from the same country, we're from the same city. Being a Northwestern alum, I think, has tremendous advantages in the sports industry. To me, that community, it's been with me for 20 plus years.
Welcome back to Sports Night. Now, Max, the trailer for the new Mission Impossible movie released earlier this week, and it looks incredible. I still don't understand how Tom Cruise does all his own stunts for those.
Yeah, some of those feats of athleticism and bravery truly boggle the mind, but right now we've got to focus on some other gravity-defying exploits.
Are you talking about what I think you're talking about?
I absolutely am. It's time for Plays of the Week. Let's roll them. At number 3, we're going to go over to Northwestern baseball here. And Trent Liolis is at the plate for the Cats in a tie ball game. Excellent contact, and as Luke Combs sings, that ball is going, gone for the solo shot, giving the Cats a 4-3 lead in that one.
At number 2, we're staying on the diamonds, but we're going over to the J. Cats already have a 5-2 lead in this one. Grace Nieto says, that's not enough. A bomb over the outfield wall, a 2-run dinger that extends the Cats' lead to 5 in a series-deciding victory.
And at number 1, it's a diamond kind of night on Plays of the Week. Tie ball game in the bottom of the 9th, and Kucherak at the plate, who had gone 0-4 on the day. A beautiful swing. You saw that one drop there just before the fence, and that's a walk-off victory for the Cats against the Hawkeyes.
And that's all we've got from the studios in such a busy week for the sports calendar. March Madness, the Masters. Thank you so much for taking some time to tune into our wonderful show. If you want to see more of our amazing work, follow us on Instagram at @NNN_sports and on Twitter or X at NNN Sports.
And before we go, I'd be remiss to say it's been fantastic getting to be a part of Sports Night over the last 3.5 years. You know, getting to study engineering, I wasn't sure if I was going to get to do stuff like sports journalism and all the people I've gotten to meet while I'm here. Now, this is going to be my formal retirement from sports journalism at the ripe old age of 22. Maybe I'll still be in the control room or doing some golf coverage, but that's going to conclude it for me at the desk, but it's been a lot of fun.
Certainly has, my friend. And neither of us are wearing green jackets, but you've still given Sports Night a level of pageantry and professionalism on par with Augusta National. For Max Rothfeder, for Sammy Grimstein, and our entire Sports Night crew, I am Brendan Preisman. Have a wonderful night.